What's happening, everybody? Been a minute since I did a little cooking video. I was requested to cook something for one of the sisters at church. She ended up, it wasn't a freezer clean out, but her aunt gave her a prime rib without knowing it was a prime rib. And she also gave me a ham. She wants me to smoke it too. So I'm getting ready to go up to the house and get that meat and get that stuff on the smoker here after I get it all prepped. And today though, I'm not gonna cook the prime rib like you would typically cook a prime rib. I did some research last night, and one person in particular, the way they did it that I had in mind, he actually did it better than what I thought I would. Well, I'm not gonna say better, but his technique was better and it looked better than I thought it would come out. And that's cooking a prime rib like a brisket. And shout out to Smoking Joe's Pit Barbecue out of Texas. I watched his video. If any of y'all ever seen Smoking Joe, that dude can cook, man. But I'm gonna do it like he did it, similarly. But I'm gonna cook this prime rib like a brisket. It took him 9 hours. I'm getting started a little later than I wanted to. I got up when I wanted to, but for whatever reason, old Angus, the fire didn't want to get started in him this morning, and I had to run to the grocery store real quick to pick up something. By the time I came back, it was ripping and roaring, so I'm glad to see that. So I'm getting ready to go up to the house and get the meat, and I'm going to bring it back down here, and I'm going to prep it down here. So I'll keep y'all posted on the cook as it goes. I'm trying not to make this video super long, but that's what I'm doing today. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna trim a little bit of this silver skin and this fat off. I've already cut the spinalis off. I think that's what that's called. Don't quote me on that. But I'm gonna take a little bit of these where the ribs came out, that meat that's hanging. I'm just gonna trim that off. Those little pieces. Let's turn it over this way. I just kind of want to trim them up. And I may have to tie it in butcher's twine to keep it from falling apart when it cooks, because that's what Joe did. He took this part off I think he said it was the spinalis. I don't know all the technical terms for meat. I just know the main names and I know how to eat it. So that's good. So I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna take a little bit of this silver skin and off of it, and any little loose ends that may burn. Trying not to jack this up like I did my brisket on the trim, on that last brisket that I cooked. And some of y'all might be saying, why he cutting that on that table? That's because this table is my cutting board down here. It is clean, it is sanitized, and it is where I trim a lot of my meat at. So it's specifically for that. That's what I made it for. Made it into, not made it for, but made it into. And this is, I was reading the pack. It's called Excel. I don't know that brand of beef. But that's what it was called, was Excel. This thing don't really have a fat cap. The one Joe did, it had a fat cap. But I'm just going through trying to get some of this silver skin off. Very, very little fat on this prime rib. It's got a little bit right here on the top, but it's got a lot of silver skin mixed in with it. I can see how this will come apart when I cook it. So I'm definitely gonna wrap this up in some butcher's twine. A lot of silver skin make me feel like I'm taking the silver skin off of a back strap. There's a big chunk of silver skin running down that way. I gotta be careful with this. Trying to keep my knife tilted up. Just trying to run it under the silver skin so I don't take off meat. Okay, a streak of fat. Some fat and silver skin. I don't want any silver skin on it, but what little bit of fat that's on it is getting taken off because it's intertwined with that silver skin. I don't know how many of y'all ever tried to chew silver skin, but very, very, very unpleasant. Yeah, it's trying to come apart at the seams right there. It don't look too bad over there. Okay. All right. So all we're gonna use on this baby today is salt, pepper, garlic, and onion. But I am gonna make me a butter base to keep it basted with some butter, some thyme, basil, bay, and oregano. And I'm gonna make me an au jus with it, and I'm gonna use that in the end to kind of put that over it. So we'll come back in a minute. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna hit this baby up with my salt, pepper, onion, garlic mix. And we're gonna coat this baby liberally. This smells so good, this rub does. It's onion and garlic heavy and black pepper heavy. Seems to make a really good bark. My last brisket was that thing, the brisket, this is a prime rib, but the last brisket I cooked, man, that thing was so beautifully dark. And no, I didn't use a binder because the meat has plenty of moisture on it. So I did not feel the need to put a binder on it. I'm gonna let it sit and sweat out a little bit before it goes on the smoker. And I would have never did a prime rib like this, but I was like, man, I just wonder, can you cook a prime rib like a brisket? And I'm so thankful that Joe had the courage to try it on one. And that helps me out a lot, knowing that, yeah, you can. So I'm gonna put a little bit more on this side. Yeah, I'm going heavy with it, like I said, because it's not as much salt as it is the other 3 ingredients. So, all right. So I'm gonna let that baby sweat out for a while. I'm gonna sit it over to the side. Now, this little piece, the spinalis that came off, that's where that hard fat runs through that seam. And I think I'm gonna trim that down. I was gonna keep it just to grind it up and make some burgers with the brisket trimmings I got. So you know what, I think I will. I think I'll just hold on to that and break that down and make some burgers or sausage. I may just do sausage, venison and beef sausage. But that's the prime rib, y'all. It's gonna sit there, it's gonna sweat for a minute. There ain't gonna be a whole lot going on with this old ham. I'm gonna put it on there. I'm gonna make my honey butter glaze for it. And put my other little things in there. That's gonna be simple. But that prime rib is what I wanted to showcase today. I also have some ribs. My mother-in-law and my wife bought some ribs at Aldi one time. These things have been in the freezer for a while. Y'all, all my Europeans, don't get upset when I say this, but the truth of the matter is, European ribs, these come from Denmark. Man, these things are less than, they're about 3/8 of an inch thick, if that. And man, I mean, they don't have any meat, hardly any fat. And those things, last time I cooked some, they were so horrible because they didn't have any fat content and the meat was so thin. But what I'm gonna do today, because they've been sitting in the freezer for so long and they just taking up space, I'm gonna cook them. And if we don't like them, the dog's gonna have a treat. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But I'll come back to y'all when I get ready to put this on the smoker. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the ribs put in the vertical. Right now I'm sitting about 245, that's good. I'm still waiting on my temp to come down a little bit on the main so I can put in that prime and that ham. Over here right now I'm sitting about 370, so I want that to come down some more. So I'll go ahead and I'm on. These are some super thin ribs. These things will probably cook so fast, and I did not cut the rib tips off, anything. I just left them like they were. I just went ahead and seasoned them up, and I'm just gonna put them in like that and see what happens to them. I know the last time I cooked some, man, it was a crying shame. A crying shame. All right, we're gonna go ahead and start getting the stuff on. We're gonna go ahead and put this ham on first. Then we're gonna put the prime rib on. I put the butcher's twine on it. We're gonna let that baby go, and we're gonna come back and check on it in about a couple hours or so. I got those ribs in the vertical, so we'll be back in a little while. All right, y'all. Well, I got something I want to share with y'all. This beautiful Sunday morning. last month on February 15th was me and my wife's 25th anniversary. And we were gonna slide out that week after she got out of work on Friday. We were gonna slide out and go to Florida and kick it down there for our 25th anniversary. Well, she kept complaining of a headache. She said, I'm going to the doctor when I get off work. I'm gonna go to urgent care real quick because this headache been going on 2 or 3 days. I said, all right. I said, let me know what happened. This was on a Thursday. And she called me. She said, hey, urgent care is busy. I'm gonna just go right across the street to the ER. When she get to the ER, they get her to the back. They do all these scans, and they see this mass on her brain, this big mass of nerves. So she calls me and she tells me what's going on with this mass of nerves, and they haven't come back and told her anything. And they've ran all these scans and doing all these tests. So just as I'm getting more information from her, the best she can give me, the doctor comes in. And I hear the doctor talking, saying something, and I can't make it out. Well, when the doctor leaves the room, she said, babe, did you hear that? I said, I couldn't really tell what the doctor was saying. And she said, they said I had a stroke, and they got to keep me. So I'm like, what? Now, this was on our 25th anniversary, and we're supposed to be going to Florida. So we didn't get to celebrate our 25th anniversary. So she had some neurology appointments and everything. So we go to the neurology appointment on Wednesday. On Thursday. So they had to do a brain surgery procedure. They had to go in through an artery and go up to her brain with a scope, and they had to check out this bundle of nerves. Now this is where all I could do is say, hallelujah, praise you, Lord, because my God is good. I've experienced little things in my life that I knew was the hand of God, but this was a complete miracle. When the doctors got inside there, the massive nerves that were all tangled up and bundled up were no longer tangled and bundled. They couldn't find a single thing that was abnormal other than the fact that she has a large artery that supplies blood to a certain part of her brain more than the rest of her brain gets. And she teases me about that. She says, that's why I'm so smart. But anyway, I just wanted to give y'all that testimony. If you don't believe in Jesus and the power of healing and the power of prayer, I really pray you get a relationship with the Lord, because when you got a relationship with him, it's different than just saying, oh, I believe. Okay, the demons believe, but they ain't got no relationship with him. When you got a relationship with him and you trust him and you believe him and you got faith in him and you ask him for healing and you tell certain people you know will get on their face and pray for you with the same kind of faith that you got, God will move anything that you ask him to in your favor. So I just wanted to give y'all that testimony. It is an absolute miracle, and I thank God for it. So we got a lot of things we're going to be able to do now that we know that she is just 100% recovered from the stroke. The only thing that was left was she still has these headaches, which they couldn't find any reason for the headaches. So they told her just follow up with a neurologist and a headache specialist for that. But they couldn't find the reason for the stroke, but they had all the evidence of the stroke, and all of the nerves were where they should have been. So all I can say is praise God. And today is Sunday. I'll be praising him even more while I'm out here, because I got to cook this meat for the sister. But I just wanted to share that with y'all, and in hopes that y'all that don't have a relationship with the Lord will seek him and get him in you, and follow him and trust and believe in him. All right? Y'all have a blessing. We'll check back on this meat in a little while. Later. All right, y'all. We're going to look at this meat and stuff real quick and see what it's looking like. And then I got to walk around and take care of one chore I know of. But this is what we got going on so far. This right here is my glaze for my ham. I'm not going to tell you what's all in it. But that'll be glazing up the ham. And then right here, this is for the prime rib. It's a rosemary brush. Got various seasonings and some butter. And I just got all that stuff on the firebox, so it'll go ahead and marry together good. But right now we're sitting right around, who knows, 260, 265. And this is what everything looking like right now. That's what that prime rib looking like. I went ahead and butcher twined it up. That's what the ham is coming on like. And this is that spinalis. I took it and I cleaned all the meat off the fat. And then what I did was I took the meat and I put it inside the spinalis. I seasoned it all up, and then I just did a pinwheel roll with it, tied it up with some butcher twine and put it on there, because that's gonna be my breakfast slash lunch, because this stuff gonna take a while to cook. So I'm gonna eat that in a little bit. Let's see what we're looking like on these old ribs. Man, I tell you what, these things, look how thin they is, y'all. Look at this. Man, that's ridiculous. This is from Aldi supermarket. I don't know if any of y'all have an Aldi supermarket near where y'all live or whatever, but they're a European grocery store, and they have a lot of stuff in there that's European grocery stuff. And man, my wife and mother-in-law did not have a clue what they were doing when they got those ribs. They bought a whole box of them like a year plus ago. And I cooked some one time and I got mad. I ain't even gonna lie. I just straight up got mad, because those things ain't got no meat, no fat. The bones are so thin. I don't even think they pork ribs. The box says pork, but I really don't think they pork ribs. But anyway, this is the chore I gotta take care of. I gotta get my girls fed up real quick, and then I gotta get back to babysitting that smoker. Y'all know how that go. Gonna get him a cup of food. Hey ladies, how y'all this morning? Boom, got y'all every time. I'll probably let them out. I'll probably let them out a little later and run around. I let them out the other day for the whole day because we had to go somewhere. Man, when I came home, I had chicken poop up the driveway from the front of the barn all the way up to the house. I don't know how them chickens poop that much poop. It was a mess. But yeah. Anybody started their gardens yet? We started ours, and I got all these boxes. I gotta fill them up. Like, I got all these boxes, and I gotta fill these suckers up with dirt. Some of the boxes we already set some stuff out in. We set some tomatoes out in that one and that one. I don't know how I bent this one, but I did. I'm trying to remember exactly how I bent it, but I did. But that thing grows awesome. I just cleaned the greens out of it. But out here on the field, I gotta go back and till this some more, because it was muddier than I thought. The other day, what was it? 3 days ago. I put all my horse manure in, and I got out here, and that Mahindra started getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And I said, what? Man, I did not realize that the ground was still that muddy. And so I only went out and set out these 3 bell pepper plants, and there's 1 broccoli plant and there's 1 eggplant. I don't know why my wife got 1 broccoli plant. She know we like broccoli. But today is pretty much about the cooking. I've been doing a couple of fishing videos here and there lately. We've been catching them. And I'll probably go back fishing here pretty soon. But I was telling people on the fishing video, I'll probably put up a video of anything that's outdoors, because that's the kind of stuff I'm into. I'm an outdoors person. Right here we got a bunch of Brussels sprouts. My wife set out a bunch of Brussels sprouts in this box and some lettuces and everything, and got a couple strawberry plants and a little corner over here for some what you call them widget deals, herbs. And then I did this box over here. I liked certain things I want to put in, so I put in some onions back there on that back side, and I did 2 little rows of chives. I got a couple cabbage plants in there, and then I got some beets in a row right here, and then I got a couple row of carrots. Probably gonna be once we dry out a little bit. We got a little bit of rain this morning, and that kind of hindered me a little bit, because it was more rain than I thought we was gonna get, but definitely made it to where I'm not gonna be able to turn that dirt over as soon as I thought, and get my other plants in, my seeds. I want to go ahead and get my seeds in a little earlier this year. I usually plant Good Friday or after Good Friday, but I figured a lot of stuff out about growing stuff over here on this place. Is way different than my old house. My old house, man, I could grow stuff, and put it in early, and it wasn't a big deal, or I could put it in late and it wasn't a big deal. It all seemed like it grew better. I haven't got a soil sample analysis over here yet. I plan on doing it, but until then, everything I've ever grown is just, and it comes up good, is for the most part is based on what I knew as a kid, how we used to do stuff. So I still do a lot of that. But this year I got to get water samples done for my springs, and I got to get soil samples done for the fields, and go from there, because we're trying to get this thing up and moving so I can live life the way it's been shown to me that I'm gonna live it. But anyway, y'all, we're gonna keep an eye on this meat. I'll come back to y'all with this meat in a little while, and see how it's looking. So far it's looking pretty good. I'm surprised, but I'm real anxious to taste this prime rib cooked like a brisket. But I'll come back to y'all in a little bit. All right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start basting some stuff here. I already put a little bit of baste on that prime rib, but I haven't basted the ham. And the ham deserves some loving too. So this glaze that I'm using today, I added an ingredient that I normally don't use in cooking. But I had a sip of some stuff the other night, and I said, man, if my honey glaze for my ham had a little bit of that right there in it, it would do something to flip it on out. Because my honey glaze usually gets a lot of love from people. I'm gonna set this spinalis right here for a second. I probably don't make any of the stuff that I make like anybody out there, and that's good, because uniqueness is a great thing. Everybody do things the way they do it, and that's awesome. But I had this a sip of this alcohol called 20 Grand. It's a cognac and vodka blend. And I tell you what, I put some of that in my glaze. I can't tell you everything that's in my glaze, but I put some of that stuff in my glaze. Oh my goodness. I could sit here with some bread and dip this whole pan and eat every bit of it. a whole loaf of bread with this glaze on it. That stuff is so good. Okay. And we're gonna take our rosemary brush with our butter mix with all of our other seasonings. We got some thyme, oregano, basil, a little bit of bay leaves, all in butter, a little bit of salt, because I don't put a whole lot of salt in my rub that I initially put on it. And I tell y'all what, if y'all could smell this, man, there is something about a rosemary herb, the smell that it puts off and the flavors it imparts, man, oh my goodness. I tell you what. And this spinalis is gonna be my little snack. So I'm trying to cook him faster, so I'm moving him up to the front of the cooker, closer to the firebox. But this right here, everything is starting to look awesome. So we just gonna let everything keep rocking and rolling. And let it do its thing. The wood that I'm using today is some I got a load of oak from a gentleman the other day. What was it? Actually, it was the last brisket cook I did. I got a load of oak from this gentleman, and he said it was red and white oak mixed. I couldn't complain because the price that I paid for it was just like, man, that was an awesome deal. But I'm using hickory and oak today, and we're gonna see how all this work out together. But for now, that's what it is. All right, y'all, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna pull this spinalis. I tempted, and it's close to where I want it. Ooh, that baby juicy. I'm gonna go ahead, let that sit there for a second and rest a little bit. I'm gonna put a little bit of this herb based on it. I added some olive oil to this. It's got the butter in it, but I also added some olive oil. My brush is starting to fall apart. I think I left it in the base too long. It's done about cooked. That's just gonna add more flavor to it. So I'm gonna let this baby sit here and rest for a minute. And then I'm gonna slice it. Probably is not gonna be like tender because it's cooked quick compared to the prime rib itself. That thing's got a ways to go. So I'm gonna set this back over there. I'm gonna let that rest for a minute, then we'll come back in a minute. We're gonna cut that. All right, y'all. It's been a few minutes. We're gonna slice into this thing and see what it looked like. I'm not expecting medium or anything because I cooked it to an internal comparable to what the brisket, the prime rib is gonna be. Joe took his prime rib to about 200, and the internal on this spinalis was about 190 something. Oh my God, look at that smoke green, y'all. I want y'all to look at this. Look at that smoke ring. Look at that. A little piece fell out. But look at the smoke ring around the edge of that thing. That is beautiful. Of course, I'm gonna have to eat me a piece. Tears off like it's pretty tender. Thank you, Lord. Y'all ain't gonna see me bite it. Man, it's got a crunchy bark. I don't know how to describe that. That bark is so crunchy. And the meat, I don't know. It is very good, but I cannot tell you what it tastes like. It definitely doesn't taste like prime rib. It definitely doesn't taste like brisket. With these seasonings, man, that is good. That has a very unique flavor. Look at this bark. Listen. That is crispy. That is very crispy. That smoke from that smoke ring is juicy. It's not dried out. It is good. Oh, you know what it reminds me of? I had a lamb roast one time. And that's weird. That tastes like the lamb roast did. And that is good. This is only the spinalis off of that. So I can't wait to see how the actual roast tastes. Man. But this is my brunch, y'all. Sorry to be eating in y'all's ear, but I just wanted y'all to see it. And just a little pinwheel with the chunks of meat that I had trimmed off inside it. Alright, y'all, we're gonna give everything a check and see where we at. Let's check out some temperatures right here. Let me get my my pen right here. We got some smoke pouring up out of there. I just put some logs on there a little while ago. They were burning clean, but I guess when I close the door, let me go and let them do their thing for a minute. Let me get this temp pen going. Everything look real good. Let's see what we're temping at in this ham right now. About 152. Alright, it's basically a reheat. So, and let me clean off my therm pan a little bit because I went in that ham first. I don't want to go in that ham first. Let me clean off my therm pan. Alright. Now, let's see what this baby gonna say. Okay. Alright. We got a ways to go because we're gonna cook this till it's over 200 degrees. Man, I like that as I go across. I like that all the temperatures are, this may be a little warm on that end. Actually, no. all my temperatures are telling me a good story about the way this smoker is cooking from one side to the other. I'm in the 160s from the front to the back across the grate, if you know what I mean. And man, that's good. That means that air is flowing out of there pretty evenly. So I'm gonna let my ham go a while longer, and I'm gonna let this prime go a while longer. I'm gonna glaze my ham, and I'm gonna put some of that herb mix on that. My glaze done got thick. I gotta be careful with it now, because it can end up getting a good candy coating on this ham, and it'll be a little darker than I want it to be. So I gotta be careful with this glaze right now. I can't put it on very often. That ham's starting to look good though. I love the color of it. It's like this mahogany. Man, that thing is pretty. Just coat the back of it a little bit right here. Yes, indeedy. We can get old bones some love. All right, that down there got plenty on it. All right, I'm gonna set that back on the firebox for a second. Now we're gonna get our rosemary brush and our butter olive oil herb mix, and we just gonna dab along on that, baby. I tell y'all what, that spinalis tastes so good, man. This doggone bark on the outside of this thing is so crunchy. I could hear it as this brush is going across it. I turned it over a little while ago, so I don't need to turn it over again at all. Trying to just let them both sides get that heat evenly. And the way old Angus is running right now, man, I'm loving it. I hope it continue to be that way. I'm not even gonna show y'all them little ugly ribs. Them things, I showed them to my wife and she laughed. I said, I don't know why you laughing. Y'all the one brought them joints to the house, knowing you can't do nothing but have pork jerky from them. That's all that is. Just pork jerky. So, but anyway, I'm gonna close it down, and we're gonna let that baby ride like that for a little while longer. That ham at least, and this prime probably got quite a few hours left, so I ain't doing nothing but chilling, and that's what's gonna be till the end. All right, I'll let y'all see it later. All right, y'all, here it is. Let's check it out. The ham has been done for a while, so it's in the vertical. Let's see what we're temping at. Remember, we wanted to get close to 200 or be right at it. We're 193 basically down here on this end. In the middle, about 192 or so. Right in there. Down here at this end, we close to 200. Right at 200. That thing has got an incredible bark on it. Man. So I kind of foil bolted it to kind of save some dew off of it, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. I'm gonna wrap it up and pull it, and I'm gonna take it to the house and let it rest for a while, because I see the dinner guests have arrived, the people that were coming over. So we're gonna go socialize a minute, and then we're gonna slice into this. All right.
Well, let me tell you something.
All right, y'all, here they is. That's the candied ham.
And my best friend.
He
they
mahogany.
didn't tear up from America. See, they
got really candied. I wish I had more light so you can see there's actually mahogany over there. And then this is the prime rib. It started separating. That's why I had to put the butcher's twine on it. But man,
Well, it's
that's a
sagging,
nice bark.
and it's uncomfortable.
I'm gonna cut it open in a minute.
And then when I called them,
All right, y'all, here it is, cut open. I like the way it looked. Look at that smoke ring. It look pretty good. It's juicy. You can see the juices in it. And then the ham tastes like a ham, but with and that skin. That skin is not crispy. It's hard, but it ain't crispy. But it's glazed up. It's my my candied ham. So, all right, that's it, y'all. I had taste tests earlier on that spinalis, and I think it was way more seasoned than this. But this has got the bark the spinalis didn't have. So, there it is.
thank you.
Later. I forgot to mention, we also got the mac and cheese with the rich crackers and the bacon. My wife made that. I'm finna tear that up, even though I'm lactose intolerant. The only other thing we're gonna be eating with this stuff is a salad. So, all right, y'all. Prime rib cooked like a brisket. Later.